The New York Knicks are an atrocity. They're an embarrassment on the very highest level imaginable. And the reason why is because it starts from the top down. If I can sit here and say Jim Buss has to go, James Dolan has to go. He won't because he's the owner. He's the billionaire. The priority clearly is about making money. It's not about winning. And even though I'm not going to go as far as to insult or disrespect him by saying he wants to lose, I would never accuse him of that. He's almost addicted to losing. He can't get out of its way. You win 54 games last year. And one of the first things you did was get rid of your GM for no reason whatsoever. And I'm not here to sing Glenn Grunwald's praises or whatever the case may be, but you don't let go of somebody that just helped you win 54 games and just say, because you wanted to, essentially. This is what he does. He doesn't worry about the media but so much because he owns New York Newsday and he owns MSG, and he's going to make sure that he has voices out there. He is more concerned, and I know that they don't want people thinking this, but they have to accept accountability and responsibility for what they give off. They appear more committed to invoking his stringent media policy than they do to winning. As a result, because of that, combined with letting go of the GM, combined with not renewing the contracts of the assistant coaches, clearly Mike Woodson was a lame duck. And as we reflect on this season, Skip, I have come to the conclusion that you were absolutely right. They should have fired Mike Woodson simply to do him a favor. Does he deserve to be fired? Did he deserve to be fired? Of course not. But you set him up to fail. And now, because you haven't fired Mike Woodson, now all of this is on him. Because his name, the cachet, the value is dissipating before our very eyes. We're not only looking at players that quit on the coach. We're looking at players that have quit on one another. They've got their vacation to the Bahamas, to the Barbados, to Aruba, to the Cayman Islands, to Cancun. It's all plotted and planned out already. They are 21-39. They have given up an average of 111 points over the last 6 games, which is 6th most in the NBA over that span. 6 straight games they've given up plus 100 points. They gave up a triple-double to Joakim Noah, who is a center. That is the first time a center has had a triple-double since 1979. I mean, this is just some horrible stuff. Horrible. The New York Knicks, it's one of those situations. You can't do this to Dolan because he's a billionaire. He can helicopter, he can heliport, he can fly, he can do whatever. But it's almost to the point where you look at some of these players, they shouldn't be allowed to walk the streets of New York City. And Carmelo Anthony, it needs to be said right here, right now, would be an absolute fool to stay here for the New York Knicks. His credibility, this is a Knicks fan saying this to you, Skip, who you know does not want to lose Carmelo Anthony, who you know wants Carmelo Anthony to stay and retire New York Knicks. He's a score machine. He's big time. If Carmelo Anthony stays with the New York Knicks, you have essentially said it is about the money. It's not about winning, because there is nothing about the New York Knicks that has led you to believe that they can win. You look at the way Indiana's coming up, where Miami already is, and what they'll be able to do if they end up keeping LeBron James. The New York Knicks are irrelevant to basketball. It is that bad. The commissioner, Adam Silver, looked like he was ready to cry. You know how I felt, okay? Anthony Mason and a bunch of New York Knicks that I talked to, they are horrified at what they're seeing. And oh, by the way, you ain't getting Tom Thibodeau from the Chicago Bulls. I don't believe the Chicago Bulls are letting Tom Thibodeau out of his contract. If you want somebody to get out of their contract, why don't you call Golden State about getting Mark Jackson? Because clearly you're getting rid of Mike Woodson. You set him up to fail. You threw him to the Wolves. You sabotaged the coaching career of Mike Woodson. You really did. It's really sad. It really is, Skip.
With all due respect, I must admit, I am sick and tired of hearing you talk about the New York Knicks and me having to talk about the New York Knicks, because I'm with you. I'm done with them. they have clearly quit on Mike Woodson. And that's not all his fault, as you just elaborated on. But they've quit on themselves. They've quit on this season. They have just flat quit in ways that are as shameful as I've ever seen a pretty good team that won 54 games a year ago quit. They don't have Jason Kidd. Is that the big difference? Really? Come on, really?
Come on now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the big picture, I look at James Dolan because it's going to come down to him. We don't talk about him enough, probably.
Right.
It's funny. We talk about Jerry Jones incessantly.
That's right.
But Jerry Jones is a better owner than James Dolan.
Yes, he is.
He's a more successful owner, right?
Do you know how difficult that is for me to acknowledge?
Yes, it must be.
How difficult that is for me to acknowledge?
I'm glad you did it.
Jerry Jones is a better owner than James Dolan.
Well, he does have 3 Super Bowl trophies in his office.
Yes, he does.
Okay, so you got to start there. Now, he's had a long period of ineptitude as the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, but so is James Dolan. How long has it been? Do I have to ask again? Since the last championship?
The Knicks? 1973.
Thank you.
2 appearances since then in the NBA Finals, which they've lost.
Let's see, you were about 16.
I was 6. I was 6 years old.